2018 annual report. The Philadelphia Commission for Women was created by an amendment to the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter to promote civic, educational, and economic policies for women and provide advice and recommendations to the mayor and city council on policies and programs that advance equal rights and social justice for the women of Philadelphia. A requirement of this legislation is that we submit to the mayor, to city council, and to the chief clerk an annual report regarding our activities. And today, we are fulfilling that obligation. This commission and all women of Philadelphia will be forever indebted to City Council member Blondell Reynolds Brown, who sponsored the legislation in 2015 that created this commission. The work that we do and all the commissioners that come after us will be a lasting legacy of the lifelong commitment that Blondell Reynolds Brown has had to improving the lives of women, girls, and their families. As in our first year, 2018 was filled with ambitious goals that included advocacy on behalf of economic empowerment, pay equity, removing barriers to career paths in science, technology, education, arts, and math, and engaging in strategic partnerships with organizations that have common goals of enriching the lives of our city's women. We were always cognizant that in a city such as ours, we must prioritize serving the most vulnerable. To this extent, economic empowerment that addresses our city's poverty rate has remained at the top of our list. For fiscal year 2019, an issue for us, we celebrated with the mayor and city council with Fair Workweek legislation and raising the minimum wage for city employees and city contractors. It is our hope that the private sector will follow suit. We know that when we address the poverty of women, we are addressing children and families, and it addresses all of us. When I was first appointed to lead this commission, I was immediately struck by a conversation with Commissioner Tony Willis, who is also the founder and director of Ardella's House, that provides support services to incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women. She poignantly expressed how often incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women remain invisible in practically every space. They are usually left out of conversations regarding the needs of mothers. They are left out of conversations regarding criminal justice reform or support services for returning citizens. She reminded me of the special needs of incarcerated women who are more often than not mothers and who more often than not are survivors of sexual abuse and sexual assault and are the fastest growing demographic of incarcerated individuals. At Tony's invitation and suggestion, see, that's what happens when I look up from my paper. I can't see well enough to find my space. But at her suggestion, our office became actively involved with the Philadelphia Reentry Coalition. We were happy to have linked their first report on women in reentry on our webpage alongside our 2017 State of Women and Girls of Philadelphia. Both documents are still available online. For far too long, the voices of women have been left out of the conversation, but please be assured on this commission and in this Office of Engagement for Women and in the Office of Public Engagement and in this administration, the voices of incarcerated women and reentering women will be amplified. Along with an article on human trafficking in Philadelphia, a highlight of our report is an article written by formerly incarcerated women of the People's Paper Co-op. Yeah. This article is extremely important because it is a prime example of what participatory stakeholder engagement looks like. It is also what we in the Office of Engagement for Women strive to model in all of our public engagements. This is a prescription for human-centered public engagement that informs, consults, involves, collaborates, and ultimately empowers. So, at this point, may I present the empowering voices of the women of the People's Paper Co-op, who will recite their poem that is excerpted in our report. Would you join me and welcome the women of the People's Paper Co-op? Where do you want to
I don't want to stand. All right, let's stand over here, guys. All right.
put me in front of the podium?
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
We the women.
We the women are powerful. We the women are wild. We the women are fierce. We the women are unstoppable, you dig? We are masterpieces, the core of the family, the backbone of the world. We are what our communities need.
We the women are queen bees. So when you lock us up, you lock away the hope of the whole community, the whole family. You lock up survivors, providers, nurturers, grandmoms, mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives, the heart of our families.
You take away our chance to thrive, our ability to nurture our loved ones, time to talk with our children about their dreams and nightmares, our power to show compassion and give support.
Because I was incarcerated, I wasn't there to give my mother the encouragement and support she needed while going through chemo, to stand up for my family, to help raise my offering, to take my little cousin to school.
To be in the audience when my daughter got her master's degree and to let her know how proud of her I was. To ask my children about their day and help with their lives and homework.
To voice my opinion, to help other women see their strength, to make my community grow.
I stand up for women because we believe if you heal women, you heal the nation. Because we are the bricks to build our own foundation. And we know how it feels to be held down and need help up. Because if we don't, who will?
Because when we come together in unity, we can move mountains. We can prove our worth. We have the power to stay strong no matter what. We can show that we have what it takes to succeed because we matter.
We are the heart of the family unit, and without our queens, there is no honey.
Because the struggle is real, but we can do this together. Because we need love. We deserve quality, just like you.
Thank you very much. And now it is my honor to introduce Mayor Jim Kinney. For those of you who have heard me speak, you've heard me call the Office of Public Engagement the social justice arm of the Kinney administration. Under the Office of Public Engagement is the Office of Black Male Engagement, the Office of Youth Engagement, the Millennial Advisory Committee, the Asian American Affairs Commission, and the Office of Civic Engagement and Volunteer Services. We are all committed to fulfilling the mayor's day one commitment to diversity and inclusion and his mantra that zip code should not determine destiny. So, with that said, it is certainly my pleasure to introduce the social justice mayor, Mayor James F. Kinney.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. And first, I'd like to congratulate the Philadelphia Commission for Women on the release of their second annual report. From the outset, this commission of dedicated women has taken on the hard work of advocating on behalf of our most vulnerable women and girls. Under the leadership of Jovita Hill, this commission has taken very seriously the mandate of our administration that zip codes should not determine one's destiny. They joined me in calling for legislation that created a fair work week for reliable scheduling in the best interests of working mothers and their families. The commission advocated for raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour for city employees and their contractors. And I recently signed this legislation not because it was the easy thing to do, but because it was the right thing to do in fairness, equitable fairness. The Commission for Women was also instrumental in strengthening and updating the city's sexual harassment prevention policy. What has made this commission so effective has been its ability to establish strategic partnerships for policy and for advocacy. This report is a prime example. The article Women's Bill of Rights, a blueprint for keeping women free, was written by formerly incarcerated women in collaboration with the People's Paper Co-op that you just heard from. The People's Paper Co-op is a women-led, women-focused, women-powered art and advocacy program of the Village of Arts and Humanities in Germantown. Twice a year, the co-op provides paid fellowships for formerly incarcerated women to focus on 3 goals: collaborating with artists and advocates who identify as female, working together to destroy stereotypes about women and reentry, connecting women service providers and advocates to form community social justice partnerships. So now I'd like to tell you more about the women who wrote this compelling article that is featured in the report. Faith Bartley has been part of the People's Paper Co-op since its inception in 2014, and since 2015, she has been its lead fellow. A recipient of the Leeway Foundation's Arts and Change Grant, she has returned to school where she is on the Dean's List with a 4.0. Latira Blake is a daughter, friend, teacher, advocate, advisor, leader, and amazing mother of 4 boys. Her exceptional skills as a patient listener led to a position at the People's Paper Co-op, created for her as a peer mentor to formerly incarcerated who are going through the fellowship program. Nikki Lee Smith is the youngest woman to participate in the People's Paper Co-op Fellowship. Just 2 weeks after being released from Riverside Correctional Facility, she joined the program. 3 months later, she was back at Riverside to greet the women being released through a partnership with the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund. LaTanya T. Myers is a community organizer and social justice activist. Last spring, she organized the annual Liberty and Justice for All event to educate the LGBTQ community of their civil rights. She is also active in voter registration and currently works for the Philadelphia Defender's Office as a bail negotiator. Last but not least, Teresa Saunders is a single parent to an exceptional daughter and a college graduate. Following her release from Danbury Prison Camp, she landed in Philadelphia and entered the Institute for Community Justice, which is the reentry program of Philadelphia Fight. Today, she is an independent contractor who does reentry outreach work. We are grateful for the work of the People's Paper Co-op. Programs like this not only benefit women like Faith, Latira, Nikki, Latonya, and Teresa, but we are a better city when we value people and provide opportunities for them to succeed. As a token of our appreciation for the work you do, I would like for Faith, Latira, Nikki, and Latonya, and Teresa to come up and receive citations from the city. You want to switch on that? And thank you to the Village People's Paper Co-op and the Village of Arts and Humanities for all that you do to help us become a better community. So thank you very much. Very proud of you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you do an excellent job.
I'm doing my best. Well, thank you. Okay. Oh, okay.
Photo op.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I'll finish.
God is good.
All the time. All the time. Are there any questions on the Women's Commission report?